What is going on, everyone? My name is Jazz, and thanks for entering the Lobby of Hobbies. Now, if this is your first time with us, you're catching us at the perfect time. We're getting ready to embark on a new series called The Challenge. Oh, Jazz, we said it before. New series, more dramatic effect. Let's try this again. So we're getting ready to embark on a new series called
The Challenge.
I like that. All right, so here at the Lobby of Hobbies, our idea is that we share the games that we enjoy in hopes that people discover something worth checking out. So, with the challenge, what we're going to do is we're going to reach out to new gamers to see if we can get them into the hobby, and even casual gamers to see if we can introduce them to something maybe a little bit heavier than what they're used to, in hopes that we can kind of get them to dive deeper into the hobby. So, what I've personally done is I've reached out to friends and family to see who might be interested in getting together with me, whether it be in person, safely of course with COVID, or even over the computer, digitally, to learn a board game that they've never played before, or something maybe a little bit heavier than what they're used to get their insight and their take and see if this is a hobby that they'd consider, probably pursuing a little bit more, or maybe adding games to their own personal collection. Now, for my first challenge, I decided to give myself the ultimate test, and that was to test and challenge my wife. Yes, my wife, who is a casual gamer, to try something a little bit heavier than what she's used to. So, stick around and let's see how the challenge went. All right, so for my challenge, I decided to teach my wife the 1 to 5 player game Tapestry, designed by Jamey Stegmaier and published by Stonemaier Games. Now, Tapestry is a civilization building game that plays roughly between 90 minutes to 2 hours. Now, in Tapestry, players will take on the role of various civilizations that they are trying to strengthen and make stronger, eventually scoring the most points to win the game. Now, in Tapestry, players will be working their way up 4 different types of advancement tracks to strengthen their civilization. You have a military track, a science track, an exploration track, and a technology track. And players can choose how they want to advance on these different tracks, whether they want to take a balanced approach or take an approach where they focus heavily on, 2 or 3 tracks, or maybe even 1 track, whatever the case may be. But as players advance on these tracks, they're going to be acquiring resources, they're going to be discovering new buildings and landmarks that they can play out into a capital city to score points and gain resources that way. Players will also be able to discover land tiles that they can play out onto a central map area to discover new lands, discover resources. They will also be able to conquer different lands on the map as well, giving them like an area control as they play the game. And they will also be able to discover technology, which will strengthen their civilization, thus making their civilization stronger, scoring them more points. But the real meat of this game is within the Tapestry cards, which players will be able to acquire as they advance on these different tracks. And these Tapestry cards players can play from round to round that will be able to score them points, strengthen their civilization, gain them more resources, and ultimately be the glue that kind of holds their civilization together, scoring them the points needed to ultimately win the game. Now, Tapestry has a lot going on with it in, the direction that you can go. In the very, very beginning, it's one of those games that you have to kind of find your direction on which path you want to take. And in some cases, you just figure it out as you go, depending on the cards that you have in hand or the cards that you discover as you're playing the game.
Is that a challenge I hear? Well, challenge accepted.
All right. Now, the reason I decided to teach Tapestry for this challenge was that I asked my wife for the challenge what type of game she wanted to learn. Her response was that she wanted to play a game that would allow her to feel like she was progressively getting stronger towards the end of the game compared to where she was in the beginning of the game. And Tapestry lends its way to that, where players start off seemingly in the same position with the same amount of resources, and the only things that are different are their starting Tapestry card in hand and their civilization's special ability. Now, as players will make their decisions in their opening couple hands, they'll see their civilization start to open up on what their civilization is able to do, and those tapestry cards that they're able to play to start comboing their engine together. Now, for my wife, that was a huge deterrent because in the beginning of the game, I believe she wanted to be able to figure out which direction or have a little bit more direction on where she needed to go in her first couple moves. And not really knowing what that tapestry card allows you to do, especially when it's your first turn, can be very daunting, and it's a task that, makes it difficult trying to figure out what you have. But in the end, we did ultimately enjoy our play together of this game, although I don't think this is a game that she would like to play again. I do think she enjoyed the experience of trying something new, which I think that's what it's all about, right? So in the end, although this is a game she said she probably would not play again, it did not stop her from saying that she wouldn't try another game that's in a medium weight type, heavier style game. So we'll see what the next challenge game for my wife would be in store. But stay tuned for this series, because we're going to be, again, reaching out to people who are new gamers, completely new to the hobby, but also some other casual gamers to try and find out if there are games that will get them to dive deeper into this hobby as well. So if this is a series that you want to follow through, or you have any comments regarding it, or maybe some suggestions, why don't you drop them down in the comments below? I love to hear from you guys. Maybe some games that you could recommend that I could, maybe teach my wife on the next challenge. But thanks for stopping by. Again, if you like the content, why don't you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, that way you can be notified anytime we drop new content. And again, I love to talk to you down in the comments. You guys have a good one. Bye.